the Cattle of the Cattle of Cooley is one of the most remarkable mythological tales in the Irish language and one of the greatest epics in the world. It was recorded in the Book of Leinster, which is the oldest surviving manuscript, written entirely in the Irish language. The Book of Leinster dates to the 12th century and is now kept in the Long Room Trinity College Library in Dublin. The manuscript was originally known as the Lár na Nuachtáin, meaning the Book of Novel, now Oval, County Laois. It was named after a monastic settlement in the area and was found at Oval in the 14th century. One night, Queen Maeve and her husband Ailill were lying in bed, talking about all their riches. The conversation turned to an argument when Ailill claimed he was wealthier than Maeve. "I don't think so, Ailill," laughed Maeve. "You forget that I was the daughter of the High King of Ireland. I had as many jewels, warriors, and precious things as I wanted before I met you. To this day, I am richer than you." "I think not, Maeve. You'll have to prove it," answered Ailill. Nothing would do except to gather all their most impressive belongings in two great piles and compare them. There were great golden jewels, ornaments of silver encrusted with precious stones, the most beautifully embroidered clothes, and many fine animals. It seemed that they were equal in everything, but then Ailill brought out his great white bull of Connacht, Fionn Beannacht. Maeve could see that Fionn Beannacht was far superior to any animal she owned, and she stormed away in a huff. In a fit of jealousy, she sent for her messenger, Macroth. "Do you know where I can find an animal the equal of the white bull of Connacht?" she asked him. "As a matter of fact, I do," he replied. "Dara MacFiachna of Ulster owns an exceptional bull, the brown bull of Cooley. There is no match for him in Ireland, not even Fionn Beannacht, the white bull of Connacht." Maeve was delighted for what she heard. Without wasting one more moment, she sent Macroth and some of his men with a message to Dara. "Ask Dara to lend me his brown bull of Cooley for 1 year. Tell him I shall reward him well with dozens of healthy heifers, gold, and everything else that he can desire." Macroth and his men raced across Ireland as quickly as their legs could carry them. All day they travelled, passing through Westmeath, Meath, and Louth before reaching Dara's great hall at Cooley, just as the sun was setting in the west. Dara welcomed the worn warriors with open arms. Come in," he said. "You must be exhausted after your long journey. Have dinner with me by the fire and tell me the reason for your visit." Macroth explained to Dara why Maeve wanted to borrow his brown bull for 1 year. They've had an argument over which one of them is richer. She'll give you plenty of rewards in return for your troubles. Dara laughed at the story and told Macroth that he'd be more than happy to let Maeve have his brown bull for 1 year. Macroth went off to bed a happy man. Maeve would be very pleased with him. He thought that this was the easiest job he had ever been given. But he was in for a shock. After Macroth had gone to bed, Dara overheard some of his men talking amongst themselves. They boasted how Maeve would have taken the brown bull by force anywhere, even if Dara hadn't agreed to lend it to her. At hearing this, Dara was outraged. He marched straight into Macroth in a violent temper. "You have greatly insulted Macroth," he shouted, "and in my house too. Don't think that you or your Queen Maeve can fool me. You and your men will leave at once, and you will never have my brown bull." Macroth was stunned by Dara's sudden outburst. He tried to talk to him, but there was no reasoning with him. Dara threw him out of his feasting hall, leaving Macroth and his men no choice but to go home empty-handed. What? Screamed Maeve. When Mac Rot told her what had happened, her rage had doubled in a flash. Nobody refuses a request from the Queen of Crochawn, she declared. Dara MacFeachna will live to regret this. We shall take the brown bull of Cooley, whether he likes it or not. And so it was that Maeve declared war. She gathered a mighty army to march on Ulster, so she could take the brown bull for herself. Maeve's prophetess tried to warn her that she would be defeated by Ulster, but Maeve paid no attention to her. She thought of nothing but gaining revenge on Dara for his insult. You're mistaken, she said. The men of Ulster are all under an old curse of pain that Macha put on them. They won't pass any threat to my great warriors. We march on Ulster today. Now, the leader of Maeve's army was an Ulsterman named Fergus MacRaich. He was a great warrior, but he was reluctant to fight against his countrymen. To buy some time, he declared to take the longer route to Ulster. While he was marching Maeve's army, he sent a warning message to Cuchulainn, Ulster's champion warrior. He alone was unaffected by the curse of Macha and prepared to defend Ulster single-handed. After a number of days marching, Maeve's army ranks began to dwindle in numbers. Every day more and more men were found dead, and nobody seemed to be able to explain it. She summoned Fergus. Tell me, Fergus, she said, who is doing this to me? It is a bad omen, and we cannot afford to lose any more men. That is an easy question to answer, replied Fergus. Cuchulainn is behind these killings. He is the greatest warrior in all of Ireland, and we would do well to heed his warnings. If you like, I could talk to him on your behalf. Maeve let Fergus go to Cuchulainn and waited impatiently for his return. The two warriors met at midday, and Fergus listened as Cuchulainn explained his terms. Tell your queen, he said, that if she agrees, she may send one of her warriors to me every day, and I will fight him single combat. She and her army may continue to march towards Ulster while the fights continue. The terms were accepted, and one by one Maeve's strongest warriors were sent to face Cuchulainn. Every sunset seemed to bring Maeve closer to defeat, as none of her men could match Cuchulainn's skill. Her men were losing confidence quickly. Maeve had to make promises of gold and land, and even the hand of her daughter, Fionn Bear, to entice them to fight for her. Soon it was the turn of the great warrior, Ferdia, to face Cuchulainn. Now, Ferdia and Cuchulainn were foster brothers, and neither of them wanted to fight. On the other hand, neither of them wanted to be dishonoured by refusing to fight. For 3 long days the pair fought bitterly. At sunset on each day they lay down their weapons and embraced, each relieved that the other was still alive. They tended to each other's wounds throughout the night while they talked of their youth. When the sun rose on the 4th morning, they took up their arms once more. It was on that day that Cuchulainn was forced to kill his foster brother in self-defence. Though he wept in despair as he held Ferdia's limp body to his arms. Maeve was in more trouble now than she realised, for the men of Ulster were freed from Macha's curse, and the swarm of warriors charged at Macha's army. Her army was devastated, but somehow Maeve managed to escape, taking the brown bull of Cooley with her. She drove the brown bull all the way to the Shannon and into Connacht, where it let out a great roar, daring Fionn Benach, the white bull of Connacht, to challenge it. Enraged, Fionn Benach charged at the brown bull of Cooley, and their long curled horns clashed, locking together in a furious contest of strength that would last until nightfall. The terrible sound of the bullfight echoed through the valleys as the bulls kicked and stabbed at each other all day. Finally, Fionn Bannock's strength ebbed away, and the brown bull seized the opportunity to deliver a final fatal blow of his horns into his heart. Fionn Bannock, the magnificent white bull of Connacht, was dead. Despite his severe injuries, the brown bull of Cooley made his way back to his home, staggering as he went. Upon reaching Cooley, the brown bull let out a final roar, collapsing, and died on his native land. And so ends the Táin Bó Chúailnge, the cattle raid of Cooley.